Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going over the team that I ran for the entire Kanto Cup. It consists of Alolan Raichu lead, Alolan Muck safe swap, and Pidgeot as a cover/closer. I chose to use Alolan Raichu and Pidgeot, since a lot of teams I face don't account for those two Pokemon, often putting Hypno and Lapras in the same team, or Alolan Marowak and Snorlax in the same team. Because of this, Alolan Raichu and Pidgeot are fantastic core breakers in the Kanto Cup meta. Alolan Raichu and Pidgeot synergize pretty well together. Alolan Raichu on the lead pressures lots of shields, setting up Pidgeot to sweep with shield advantage. I will be showing how to play this team under different lead scenarios, the overview and strategies, and a 5-0 set at 2,730 elo. Alolan Raichu, with the electric and psychic type, beats most fighting, water, flying, and poison types. I run Grass Knot for coverage against rock and ground types. It is very glassy, but outputs insane amounts of damage. Alolan Muck takes out most fairy, ghost, grass, poison, dark, and psychic types. It is also a great safe swap, being able to dish out neutral or better damage against every single type. It loses to fighting types, but has Alolan Raichu and Pidgeot to cover its weaknesses. Pidgeot's typing of normal and flying makes it a wall to the standard Alolan Marowak, with Shadow Bone and Bone Club, also beating the grass, fighting, bug, ground, and ghost types. With Gust as a fast move, Pidgeot gets set up pretty well if Alolan Raichu was able to get the first Pokemon Shield and bring its health low enough to farm down and get ahead on energy. Because this team does not have that much bulk, you might have to sacrifice one Pokemon to let the other sweep with shield advantage. This is the main reason I have Pidgeot as a closer. Brave Bird has the power to deal insane damage to any Pokemon, even when resisted. To put this in perspective, a Brave Bird from Pidgeot takes out 70% of Alolan Marowak's health. 70%. With the gust damage from building up to Brave Bird, it one-shots Alolan Marowak, Hypno, Lapras, and Snorlax. Charmers can be tough, as it is usually a team effort to take them out. One can be handled just fine, but Double Charm Team is almost always an instant loss, along with Double Rock. However, it is manageable if you play it right. On the screen, you will see text showing you how to play different and the most common lead scenarios. I will talk over and give more detail on the tougher and more complicated matchups. Swap to Alolan Muck when you see a Snorlax. Go for Sludge Wave, because most Snorlaxes I've faced don't shield. From there, you can shield once and farm it down if they stay in. And if they do shield, don't spend a shield yourself. You can then come in with Pidgeot and completely farm down, getting ahead on energy. Because Pidgeot is deadly with energy and shield advantage. When I find a Wigglytuff lead, I usually like to store a Wild Charge, and then swap to Alolan Muck. You could also swap immediately to Alolan Muck. All three Pokemon beat Wigglytuff when shields are down. In case of an Alolan Ninetales running Powder Snow on the lead, shield the first move, goal for Wild Charge, and swap to Alolan Muck if they shield. This is to get shields down so Alolan Muck or Raichu can take out Alolan Ninetales endgame. Because Beedrill beats Alolan Raichu with Alolan Muck, it's a tough lead to face, but overcomeable. There are two ways to play this. Sacrificing your Alolan Raichu, getting shield advantage, and then farming down with Pidgeot, or you could try to catch an X-Scissor on your Alolan Muck, banking energy on your Alolan Raichu. However, if this doesn't work, then that banked energy on Alolan Raichu will be useless because you will have to spend a shield on your Alolan Muck yourself to respect the potential drill run. In the first match, my opponent leads a Snorlax. This is not very good for Alolan Raichu because it's taking super effective damage from Lick. So I'm going to swap into my Alolan Muck. And it seems that the Snorlax is staying in. So I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave, overloading just a tiny bit on energy. And they swap right as they tank the charge move, so it shows as if they have full health, but really they tank the charge move. And then out comes a Wigglytuff. So they wanted me to dump my energy on my Alolan Muck to come in with Wigglytuff and farm down. I am able to get a shield, however, so now I'm going to come in with Alolan Raichu and go for the Wild Charge immediately. This way, if they don't shield, the Wigglytuff is gone, and if they did shield, I would have swapped into my Pidgeot. Snorlax comes back in, and I immediately swap into my Pidgeot, and they are staying in, even though this is a really bad matchup for Snorlax. So, even though Body Slam doesn't do that much, I'm actually going to shield, and in the back is an Alolan Marowak, as I predicted. So, all of Alolan's Marowak's charge moves in the standard moveset of Shadow Bone and Bone Club are double resisted. So, it's really nice to have Pidgeot in the back, being able to either respond to Alolan Marowak safe swaps or take out Alolan Marowaks. And as you can see there, that's an example of a Pidgeot core breaker because there was Snorlax and Alolan Marowak on the same team, and they did not expect a Pidgeot. So in this match, my opponent leads Lapras, and then they swap into Alolan Muck. Now, even though Alolan Raichu is taking super effective damage, Alolan Raichu, because of the sheer damage of Wild Charge and how you can get to it so quickly, actually beats Alolan Muck. So it seems like they don't really have an answer for Alolan Raichu. So what I'm going to do is throw back-to-back Wild Charges, and I'm able to get both shields, so now I swap immediately into my own Alolan Muck, and they are now in Sludge Wave range. So they throw their own Sludge Wave, and I tank it, and now I'm going to go for my own Sludge Wave. The Sludge Wave does take out the Alolan Muck, even though it is resisted. Now, my opponent comes in with Lapras. I should have gone for Sludge Wave here, because my opponent is actually trying to farm me down, and I thought they were actually going to throw Surf immediately, not wanting to get hit by Dark Pulse. So they actually don't completely farm me down, which is good, and they throw the Surf, which takes out my Alolan Muck. Now I'm going to come in with Alolan Raichu and shield and hope to farm down. I do shield the Surf, and then my opponent swaps into a Hypno. So I'm going to immediately throw the Wild Charge, enabling Pidgeot to farm the Hypno down. And Thunder Punch is not stab on Hypno, so it doesn't do too much damage, and I can comfortably survive it, farm it down with Gust, and have a Brave Bird ready for the Lapras, which more than one-shots at this health range. And by now, my opponent either lagged out or threw the phone away. Good game. In this battle, my opponent leads Alolan Ninetales, and it's a Charm Alolan Ninetales, so I'm going to swap into Alolan Muck. And they're actually staying in here, so I'm going to decide to bait with Dark Pulse. And they do shield. So now I'm going to shield and kind myself. And go for the Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave does connect and one-shots the Alolan Ninetales. And they actually come in with a Hypno, which is quite interesting. So now I'm going to bring in my Alolan Raichu, since because of its Psychic typing, it resists the confusions and can beat Hypno. I am going to shield in case it is a Shadow Ball. It's actually a Fire Punch, but since it's a Shadow Hypno, it's good to shield that anyways. And it's actually a double Charm team, except with the Charm, one of the Charmers in the front. So they shield the first Wild Charge, and I'm going to go for a second one. And it does a lot of damage to that Wigglytuff. So now I'm going to swap into my Pidgeot and completely farm down this Wigglytuff. Now I have enough energy to go for a Brave Bird. And yes, this does take the Hypno out. Boom! Good game. In this match, I have Alolan Raichu into Blastoise. This is favorable for me, so they immediately swap into my their Alolan Raticate. So I didn't really have an answer for this at first, so I threw the Wild Charge, seeing if they would shield, and they do shield, so I end up swapping into my Alolan Muck. I am going to shield this Hyper Fang, and I'm not thinking my opponent will double shield here, so I can go straight for the Sludge Wave. But they actually do double shield their Alolan Raticate. So now I have shield advantage and I'm fine with letting my Alolan Muck go down, but it's only a crunch. So now I can safely go for Sludge Wave without having to expend a shield. And it takes out the Alolan Raticate. Out comes the Blastoise and it is able to farm me down, unfortunately. But now I can come in with my Alolan Raichu. I will have to shield, though. The Blastoise stores a lot of energy and then swaps into a Hypno. So they might not have considered Alolan Raichu while team building because Alolan Raichu beats Hypno and Blastoise. So I threw the Wild Charge and it did a lot of damage, and then now I'm going to swap into my Pidgeot and farm it down. I do not have enough for Brave Bird, but I do have my Alolan Raichu with a move in the back. And I do decide to shield because I'm one gust away from Brave Bird, but unfortunately I over-tap, and this allows my opponent to get to another charge move. But fortunately for me, they try to undercharge it to get more energy, and I'm able to go for the Brave Bird, which KOs the Blastoise. Good game, and well played. In this match, my opponent leads a Gengar, which is horrible for Alolan Raichu since it takes super effective damage from the Ghost typing. So I swap into Alolan Muck, and for some reason they bring in their own Hypno. Hypno is also weak to Dark, so this may have been a misclick on my opponent's side, and they decide to shield too. So I'm going to shield in kind, thinking that they may not have an answer to Alolan Muck. I'm overloading on energy and then throwing the Dark Pulse. My opponent does not shield and it takes out the Alolan Muck. And it was a misclick because they did have a Snorlax in the back, which was probably the response to Alolan Muck. I'm able to go for the Sludge Wave and it does insane amounts of damage, nearly one-shotting the Shadow Snorlax. Body Slam does take me out, but now I can just come in with Pidgeot. And look how much damage Gust is doing to this Gengar. I shield once and it's gone. It's just gone. So again, you see another example of where Pidgeot can break the core or break apart two Pokemon in a team in the Kanto Cup. Alolan Raichu and Pidgeot are definitely two of my favorite spice picks in the Kanto Cup, and I highly recommend you use them. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry for the late upload. However, I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, please do consider pressing the subscribe button, as only 13% of my viewers are subscribed. Anyways, happy battling. Peace.